Team Tolerator. This is Natalie Katona with To All the Men I've Tolerated Before. Clearly, I'm not looking at my notes. This is To All the Men I've Tolerated Before with Natalie Katona, your weekly look at everyday misogyny. Today, we are so lucky to have back to the show Noelle Cope. You will remember Noelle from our episode on sapphic relationships and how they're represented in film and media. She's back today to discuss the different ways misogyny affects her experience as a bisexual woman. Welcome back, Noelle.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited that I figured out a reason for us to reconnect and get you back on here.
Always.
What's new with you? What's going on?
Oh my goodness. It's actually been a great time since I've been on here last. I am doing so many things. My book is available all over the US at independent bookstores. For those of you who did not hear the last episode, I wrote a collection of poetry called Notes from the In-Between. It is a poetry recounting of my real life experience with intimate partner abuse, which my bisexuality and queer identity is woven throughout that book and is referenced within the poetry. As far as how I handled being in that type of relationship and the misogyny within that and abuse. And it's also, if there's any international listeners, it is available on almost all major international book sites and retailers as well, along with a couple of stores potentially in the UK will be carrying it soon, knock on wood. And then as far as film and TV goes, things are slowly resuming after the strike. And I may have a very exciting project announcement coming soon, and one that all of our lovely LGBTQ listeners will be very excited for. So keep an eye out for that on my socials.
Listen, you're a great social follow. I feel like I have really big anti energy as I get further and further into my 30s. Where it's like, I'm just so proud of all of you. You all are just doing really great. You're putting on your little outfits. You're going to the little premieres and little parties and all of it. And you are one of my favorite follows because you are doing all of those things. Like, you're always at an event. It's always the fanciest thing I've seen all week.
Thank you. I tried so hard. Like, I tried to film so many of those like red carpet get ready with me, and they fail every time because instead there's just like 2 minutes and I'm going like, hi, here's me before. And then next thing I know, the video is like me at home. I'm like, so I forgot to film any of it because I almost burned my apartment down. And that's how you know I'm a bisexual.
Chaotic bisexuality.
Oh, exclusively.
Exclusively. I think, number one, I love that you try hard because I think that our inability to be honest about how hard we try is also misogyny, because men just walk into rooms and they're like, I own this building now. And we're like, what? And they're like, I've taken over and you're all fired. And meanwhile, we're just like, so I did write the script. I don't think it's any good, but like I did write it on the computer. And I just want to know, I don't like work hard on it or anything. Like, it's real chill. This is me asking for notes on my script.
Oh yeah. No, anytime I've gotten any level of success, and like people are always like, Noelle, your like going out personality is so different from your like at home personality. I'm like, yes. When I go out, I channel my father. Straight up. Like, no, like I'm not even gonna kid anybody. A little bit of my mom, because my mom's a gorgeous, chaotic Hungarian woman. So I kind of merged the two. But no, my dad is a white, well, mostly white Gemini, white passing. And so I go out with him, and he's a producer. And so he just walks up to anybody. He's like, hey, man, I really like this, or blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what are they going to do? Tell me no? And I'm like, you're right. You're right. What are they going to do? Telling you no? I guess that's not an option. But then like I go up to these events and I'll just walk up to anybody and be like, hi, I'm a producer.
Hello, me. I
wrote a book.
Yeah. I just like, yeah, I'll just walk up to people and be like, hello, I've been writing in my comedy journal. Do you like jokes? And people are like, hey, lady, how are you? I wrote a sitcom. My uncle told me that writing is, he listened to an NPR episode. This is a true story from this past weekend. I told my uncle that I officially finished a script, which is something I've never done because that's scary. What do you do when it's done, when it's out of your brain? And my uncle has always read and or listened to something that has to do with anything I could be talking about. And he looked at me and he went, well, Nat, I recently read this book. I don't know if you ran into it, but one of the central themes of one of the big players in the book is that writing in it of itself is a torturous process that you definitely never want to be doing, but you have to do because you're a writer and it's awful and you hate it. And I'm like, are you proud of me? Are you confused by me? What's
I mean,
happening?
at the same time, he is saying the most real thing I've heard in like in a decade.
Now
So
now I'm sharing with him my weird writing ritual, which is I put an hour on my timer and then I type and then I go, I'm done typing and I pause the timer and I go and put laundry away. And then I'm like, I could type again and I hit play on the timer because the entire time I've been folding laundry, I'm like, and then the person will say this and then we'll go into
yeah.
this. And I was like, so I technically write to 1 to 4 hours every day because of my
Yeah.
nice little timer situation, but officially it is 1 hour. He's like,
I mean,
okay.
that's a great way to hold yourself accountable because I'm notorious for doing the thing where I sit down and I go, hmm.
I do this too. Stop.
And then like a long time will have passed. I'm like, well, I tried.
Well, I really did that now, didn't I? Like, I'm like, I held a pen in my pocket all day long. I am a writer. And that's as far as I got. And then I was like, Love is Blind dropped. What am I doing?
Dude, the choke Love is Blind has on me every year. Every year, I'm like, this is it. I'm done. I watch the first episode and then I get hung up again.
Oh my God. Well, and this season is fantastic. And we'll talk about it offline, online, whatever, because yeah,
Oh, yeah. But here's my question. And this goes great into the segue of which we're talking about today.
yes.
So, if Love is Blind, why are there no bisexuals on the show?
Exactly. Why?
I'm
So
sorry. Why can the bisexual contestants not speak to both men and women? I get it's because they're like in the living situation together, but plot twist, maybe we change the living situation, create a third dormitory and allow the bisexuals to like do or we do like room buddies or something
or we
because
do the circle. I don't
yeah.
know. What's that? What are we doing with that circle building on the off season?
Yeah, I'm like there has to be some way because I would be so interested in watching the conflict between having to choose between a man and a woman and the difference in how they flirt and communicate and handle things because so many times the pods are such a disappointment because I see so many of these women showing up and like especially the women that I think have healed a lot of misogyny within themselves and ingrained sexism, they come in and they hold their ground and they do so well and they navigate so much like gaslighting and BS that's thrown at them. Like, one moment that stands out to me is when Taylor was talking about how she didn't want to reveal her race. And she did a great job of kind of like throwing that out there and kind of teasing it out to see how he responded. And he immediately called her cagey and that she was calculated and she was playing games and that he had only dated white women because the initial terror in him that he was suddenly talking to a woman who was not white. And all of her reasons for not disclosing that, especially for her own well being, were incredible. And like, I want to see though, if Taylor was bisexual, is bisexual as Pan, how a woman would have responded to that.
Yes.
Show me how a woman would have been interested and wanting to know if her culture without revealing it, how it affects her identity and her values or like all these other things. Whereas a man standing there going, well, if you're not white, I don't know if I want you.
I don't even think he asked her if her parents were like, if she was first gen, if
Oh,
they
he
had
he he got there. He had a hissy fit first.
she had the hissy fit first, but then he was like, are they immigrants? She's like, I'm not telling you anything. And he's like, okay, marry me
Oh,
though.
yeah. Insanity. But it's like, that's why I'm like, I just want to see. Show me options. Show me non-binary people. Let's make this more interesting because every season we deal with the same thing, which is, oh my God, man hates woman because woman isn't what he thought she would look like.
And right, which is just me swiping on Tinder. I don't know. And I like give me body diversity, which they're technically trying. Give me, you
I want
know,
disability representation.
disability representation. I want all of it. The queer ultimatum series leagues ahead and better than straight people ultimatum. Like, and people learn things from queer ultimatum, like speaking to one another.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think this comes back to so much of it is it's amazing how no matter what member of the LGBT community you are, to some degree, in order to gain acceptance within your identity and step into the community, do all these things, you have to do a lot of soul work. You have to do a lot of internalized legwork. And obviously, it's very different for, very masculine presenting gay men. But nonetheless, from the way that, men will talk to other men and the whole concept of who wears the pants, even within those dynamics, all those things require so much more work and internal work and kind of stepping outside the norms of society that you do end up being a far more interesting person to date because you're not focused on as much of the bullshit. The little bullshit and all those things, sure, they come up. We all have friends that are in different types of relationships where we look at them and go, isn't this argument beneath you? You guys are so good at 99% of the other relationship things. Why are socks breaking you?
No, seriously, a woman once told me that she was going to divorce her husband over towels and whether or not you get to use more than one towel while showering. Like, and she was like, I'm just supposed to do laundry day in and day out because you want 3 fresh towels every day. And I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. I believe it.
Meanwhile, let's just admit it, 99% of lesbians would go, okay, so if I built and hand stained a new towel cabinet and then purchased additional towels for myself, and then I did the washing of these extra towels that I also created a storage solution for, could I use as many towels as I wanted? And be like, yes, because you solved the problem. You addressed your needs without inconvenience me.
I follow those lesbians on TikTok. I hope they're doing really well with their catio. Like, I know them. We know them. We all have those lesbians on our TikTok.
Oh my gosh, I saw a lesbian the other day. I loved it so much. She is the one who went through the whole, I think it was in Philly, the crazy apartment situation. Oh my god, I saw her steaming this rug that her
Oh,
wife fell in love with. And she's like, I bought a rug steamer just for this because my wife is insisting that we keep this rug. But she also says it smells like mildew. And this whole saga of cleaning this rug. And she rearranged the carpets in every room in their new living situation just to accommodate this Facebook marketplace rug. And
yes.
I'm like,
And
give
that's
me
love.
more.
That's love. And I think every straight person, mostly because when I went to see Bros, I went with 2 women who present as pretty straight. Like, maybe things have changed, maybe not. But when we were going, it was like I was baby gay and I don't even know if I was baby gay yet. I was like, I like gay people more than straight people, like Will and Grace still pretending to be straight. Like, and I was watching Bros crying, telling them things like, "You don't understand, like, how important that dynamic is right there, that he felt vulnerable enough to, like." I'm, like, gay explaining to the straights why Bros is a emotional roller coaster of a comedy, and I was like, "Straight people should have to watch this." Like,
Oh yeah. No, I
yeah.
mean it's and again, I feel like that's also where so much of the bisexual, pansexual, when you're just anything other than straight, it gets so confusing
Ah,
because the narrative and the media and the relationships that were modeled are so hyper specific.
mhm.
I keep seeing these videos and I love them because they're so true, which is a lot of pansexual women joking about the second that they see a straight couple putting each other down as flirting. And, she was saying not in a way that's she's like, it's clearly not like a kind of a cute, kinky thing, right?
Yeah,
It's definitely like oh, you guys actually hate each other a little bit. And
and
in
this is how you're
public,
getting through it.
uh-huh,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
mhm.
Public shame is the only way you guys know how to resolve the other issue because that's how you put pressure on each other. She's like, as a lesbian, she's like, I would only look at my girlfriend in public and be like, isn't she a goddess? I know you want her, but you can't have her because she loves me. And it's just it's so different. And also, when you don't just date straight men, I feel like it can be very intimidating when you do go out on dates with those men because the standard and the bar and the expectations are so vastly different. And at times they will love it because, I'll sit there and I'm notorious when I do date men. I will put a spending cap. I'm like, look, I love that you are successful and that you have money. It's not the reason I'm dating you, nor do I want it to be a easy band-aid for anything we're experiencing. I will happily let you pay for things within a budget and a spending cap. And I also would love us to try to prioritize doing things that I could pay for at the end of the night if I decide I want to pay. And it's one of those things about like shifting the dynamic for me to be focused on our emotional connection and not on the financial ability to go through the motions of a relationship.
You need to write a book. Like, I mean, you have,
But no,
but
just me more.
like this one, like you need to write this one. I So the thing for me is one of the big rainbow flags that I was probably, you know, I was straight for my 20s, but I wasn't giving it my all, is that the what you just said about like I look at my girlfriend and I go, she's a goddess and you can't have her because she loves me the most. That's how I feel about all my female friends. I go to the movies with my female friends and I'm like, look at my beautiful friends. We're all women, we're all gorgeous. These are all of my wives. I I love them the most out of anyone I've ever loved and I would never let you touch them. And I'm kind of mad that you get to. And I'm like, is that normal?
Well, it's also just even like the flirting with that stuff. Like when a woman says things to me, I'm like, versus when a man says it, I'm like, the fucking
Mm.
audacity to lie to my face.
Yeah. Why
Like
are
I
you
had
speaking to me?
no, literally, like I had an instance where I was like at a party and this girl, like I came up to her afterwards. I was like, hi, just introducing myself because we were all friends with the same group of friends. And she looked at me, she's like, hi. She's like, I saw you across the room. You're beautiful. And I was like, are you telling me I'm pretty or are you flirting? Like, what's happening right now? And it's like, that thing where you're just like, oh no, it's happening. Versus like if a man said that to me, I'd be like, why were you watching me?
Ew. Ugh.
Yeah, I'd be like, excuse me, sir, what?
Yeah. I
Which
go for it.
no, I was just gonna say, which is like, I do think is sad because I do think there's genuinely a world where there are some like very, very sweet, very wonderful men that are pansexual that truly would say and mean that because they've also divested so much from misogyny and from the patriarchy that they are in a different place with emotions and intention and dating. But that guy is like literally 1 in 7 billion.
Yeah. And if you yell at them first, if you go, ew, gross, man talking, and they don't yell back, then you're like, oh, not an incel. This is nice. I'm at least safe.
You have to vet them.
You have to
Oh,
you have to say
oh,
no to at least 5 things to see, like, how they're doing with that.
oh, yeah. No, I mean, again, this is also, I'm the girl that sat on a first date where the guy spent almost the whole day trying to pressure me into making an OnlyFans.
Oh, cute.
And, nothing I said dissuade him.
And, like, here's the thing, like, maybe you had already drafted up your business plan and you just didn't need his input, or
My
maybe
thing is, I don't like a man telling me what I should do for income.
exactly.
He could have been telling me I should be a nurse. And I'd say, fuck you.
Fuck you. When I was laid off from my theater job right after the quarantine, while the quarantine was going on, and the guy I was seeing looked at me and went, "Well, there's always teaching to fall back on." And I tried to explain to him that like teacher Natalie is not a fun Natalie. She's miserable. She's usually manic. She'll stay out all night long just to prove that she can because like fuck school and fuck those kids. Like she's not fun.
No.
And I'm not going back to her. I'm like, it makes me think of throwing up every time someone's like, why don't you just get your sub license? And then it's still all on you. And I'm like, but is it? Ew. I don't like her. I feel like I've healed her and she's been put to bed. But he was like, well, you need a job. And I was like, the theater's going to ask for me back as soon as all of this is over, which was also a lie.
It's
But
okay. He didn't earn the truth.
he earned the truth. Like, it was a lie I was telling myself, and I told myself that lie for 2 years, and that's my right as a chaotic bisexual to just be like, "I'm lying to myself, and that's fine."
No, it's also you're right as a creative, chaotic bisexual because I adore teachers. Teachers, incredible. They do the Lord's work. I would love to do what I can to support teachers in their mission because I know for a fact I should never teach. And I know this because one, absolutely no child should be subjected to me in the morning. No child, no. You see, like, I am the type of bisexual and pansexual where I sit within the maleficent realm. No child should see that in the AM. Maybe after lunch. They need 2 solid meals before they're interacting with that behavior from me, okay? Like, think of the children before you suggest that I be a teacher.
Yeah. So we watch my nephew every Thursday, and he gets here because my sister is a teacher. He gets here at 6:15. And my sister was laughing because she's like, Natalie just rolls out like she's come straight from bed. She's like, the pillow is still attached to her face, actually. Her hair is everywhere. She's in her pajamas. Her boobs are outside of her t shirt. And she's just like, what up, neighbors? And she takes my child in that state. And she's like, because did you just roll out of bed? And I go, I set that alarm for 15 minutes before I know you're arriving. And you're welcome. And I don't care that I'm bringing down property value because that's how I roll out of this house every day.
You know what? Property value is too high in America. We actually need to bring it down. You're
Right,
saving the economy. You're
right.
saving the economy by
I'm
doing this.
an everyday hero. And then she's like, and then I come and pick him up and Natalie still looks like that. I go, who am I showering for? I'm with your infant all day. Like, we're just watching Bluey.
No, exactly. No, I love this. There's this one mom. I adored her. She was my next door neighbor, and I'd help her out with her daughter sometimes because entertainment work gives you an incredibly bizarre schedule.
Yes.
And I loved it because one time she was like explaining like the meal plan for her daughter for the day. And it was very simple because she's just like, I have it all prepared. She's a picky eater. I was like, great. And the thing that cracked me up and where I really loved this mom is the mom looked at me. She's like, so I made her these mini muffins. I was like, okay. And she's like, she's going to want to eat those first. I was like, okay. And she's like, and then it's going to be like 2 hours before she has breakfast. I was like, okay. And she got really honest with me. She's like, she might not eat the mini muffin. She might want a Hawaiian roll. And I was like, okay. She's like, you see, I accidentally got her started on eating Hawaiian rolls for breakfast because I would wake up. I just couldn't make her food. And I needed to give her something. So I just started giving her like little biscuits and rolls in the morning. And I was like, oh my God, you're just like me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. What do you mean it's 6 a.m.? I just woke up. I'm expected to give a child food. Like I need to
Listen,
cook it eggs.
what?
No, it's getting a Hawaiian roll. You're genius. Thank you for that idea.
You're a hero. If that woman's listening, you're a hero. You've
Shout
never
out to
done
Jade.
you've never done anything wrong in your entire life. That we all love Hawaiian rolls. It's fine.
Every little girl should start her day with a little treat, okay?
With a little treat. I number one, like, of course she has weird food stuff. All the hot girls do. Like, we all have IBS. Like, I don't know.
I have one friend, we will just periodically just hit each other up and we're like, so do you want Italian tonight? And we go to this little hole in the wall Italian place. And the only other people that go there are 75 years old. And the like the whole wait staff knows us. They know our order. It's like a joke that they even hand us a menu at this
Yeah.
point because we always order one of two things. And we love it. And we sit there and we don't even properly talk. What we do is one person goes for 15 minutes while the other person eats their pasta. Then reverse, the other person eats and the other girl. We just, yeah, it's true yapping. It is like sending voice memos to each other, but we're in person with food in front of us.
That's feminism. It's fourth wave feminism is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I'm trying to segue back to the bisexuality of it
Oh,
all.
well,
And
I was about to just say it does help that we are, queer.
yeah,
So
yeah, no. And like, here's the thing. I don't know. When you're queer, you get to do stuff like that and it's fine. I don't
because
know.
you know what? What happened is you said fuck the rules.
Fuck the rules.
Because
Here's the thing.
the rules don't want me to exist as my authentic self. Therefore, I don't take them seriously anymore. Now, moral beliefs, my core values, those can exist because those aren't determined by the patriarchy. Those are determined by love and the concept of being a good person, but not under the terms of
I'm
this
not
whole idea that I was made from like Adam's rib.
ewy. I like, here's the thing. I make up stupid rules all the time and I get like very indignant about it. And I'm like, I get to do this as some sort of queer woman. And I'm like, my love for Dave Bautista, gay. And you can't tell me otherwise. Like, I love him, but my love for him is rainbow. I don't know. And it's the same for Papa Pascal. Like
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, my love for him and Ryan Gosling, rainbow.
Well,
Tell me
because
I'm wrong.
no, and the thing is, you said it, and I get it because there are some people that I'm like, I look at you and I love you in a way that I assume a gay man loves you. And the reason I feel like I can tap into that is because it's the most akin to the way that a woman loves a woman, except you're a man and I'm aware that you're a man.
Right. And it's
Like,
because
there,
I love all the soft parts of you. I don't care that you were a
exactly.
former wrestler. I care that you love
No.
pit bulls.
And like my fantasy with you is not actually involve anything inherently sexual. It's like I love the idea of curling up on a couch with you and watching you explain something absurd to me while I know you're wrong.
I want to teach Dave Bautista how to French braid my hair, and that's our love
See?
story.
Exactly. And that's how I know it's gay.
Right, and that's how I know rainbow, and I feel
Because you
very
see,
comfortable
a very
sharing that.
straight woman would sit here and be like, I love Dave Bautista because I want him to drive me fast in his car, vroom, vroom.
Yeah,
Versus, like, I could understand that. Like, for example, do I want Michelle Rodriguez to drive me fast in a car, vroom, vroom?
yes,
Yes. And that is also gay.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
yes. Do I ever want a man to do that to me? Maybe Lewis Hamilton. But aside from that, no.
No, I
No.
like, the love that I have for Dave Bautista is so gay because it's truly like, I just want us to go have seas on a pit bull
It's a buddy
together.
cap.
Yeah,
It's a buddy movie.
yes, it's a buddy movie, which and here's the thing, I think that my love for Dave Bautista is the only thing still qualifying me as a bisexual woman because, my sister is having a second baby, and we were talking about whether or not the first baby has realized that, and I go, "What if when we're talking about babies, he just assumes that I'm having one because I don't have one yet?" I go, "Or do you think he's thinking, I wonder who's having that baby? It can't be Aunt Nanny. She finds men distasteful." Like, what do you think's going on in his head? and my sister's like, I don't think anything's going on in his head, and definitely not that. I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just going on in my head.
No, that's the beautiful thing about children. Children actually, until they're quite a bit older, don't actually care about anything other than
No,
their own needs.
right?
So he honestly, that's why he doesn't care about you bringing down the property value.
No, he doesn't care.
He's like, "Are you gonna feed me? Are you gonna play with me? Do I get Bluey? Great. Everything's checked." Mhm.
That's the only reason he learned my name in case I have goldfish crackers, like
Exactly. Dude, goldfish. The chokehold goldfish has on everyone.
on everyone. And so
Oh,
yeah,
here's a great question to ask.
go for it.
Okay. So, as a queer woman, and like, let's say you're like a queer Santa Claus, right? Instead of putting out milk and cookies to summon you, what would someone who wanted to summon Natalie have to put out?
I mean, honestly, it's still a cookie sundae. Like, I love a treat. But if it's like representing my like bisexuality or queerness or whatever, like it's gonna be like we're hey, I'm paying to dye your hair purple again so it looks good again. and here in Chapel Roan tickets because I'm very upset that I didn't get to see Chapel Roan when she was cheap and not Chapel Roan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear that.
Mhm. Because now she's really popular and, like, causing the entire state of Kentucky to shut down, and I can't do it. Like
No, I hear it.
yeah.
Again, I was really dumb. A lot of my friends saw her a lot in the LA queer scene, and I just always did not make it out to the shows that she was on. And now I'm like, I should have left my house.
Yeah. You should've, and look at us now. We're fools, and we're just like, "I wanna go to the Pink Pony Club, ba, 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 ba," and I do. What would be on your Christmas plate?
Oh my gosh. Okay, first up, you want to summon me? A slice of Baker Square Oreo pie, because that franchise,
Oh.
it closed. And I've been obsessed with that since I was little. Yeah, I think that like all I've never been able to find a Baker Square post 2008 recession.
Wow.
So I want that. Put that on a plate for me. Honestly, that might just do it for me. But if we're gonna lean super into the bisexuality thing, like I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot that could get me. It's not like it's like, oh, it'd be hard. No, there's many things.
Like, probably Dave
Honestly,
Bautista. Like
I was gonna say honestly, but I'm a cheerleader. That
Yeah.
would summon me pretty instantly.
Death becomes her.
Um, oh my gosh, yes. Basically saying that you will take me to and got us tickets for any event at this community space called Junior High in LA. It is
Mm.
like my happy place. I love it, and I don't make it out to as many of the events as I want. Oh, museum tickets.
Oh,
Mm.
museum tickets.
Yeah, I'm like, That would be so much fun. Imagine a cute museum date with 2 pretty girls, and we recreate the poses in the painting, but as women. Come on.
Come on. Yeah. No, I like again, you can get like, are you gonna Natalie, don't worry. I've written your new D&D character, so you just get to assume the role. I've always wanted to just trust someone to write my own D&D character so I could just show up like it was a casting call and be like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'm her."
No, it's like it's oh my gosh, it's just little things like that. Oh, tickets to like a drive-in, it's my favorite movie.
Uh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
surprising me with a book instead of flowers.
We're going to like an anniversary screening of Crybaby and ignoring like where Johnny Depp is now. Like, yeah,
Exactly. No, I'm like,
exactly.
oh, a date to Hollywood Forever. Like just like, oh, we're going to the cemetery for a picnic. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, ghost tour? We're doing a ghost tour? Ugh, ugh,
Yeah. But
yeah.
also I would be, and this is again where I'm a little too easy, I think. Um, you tell me, hey, we're gonna go get milkshakes and animal style fries and sit in the parking lot and talk until it's like 3 a.m. and we watch the sunrise. Yes.
Do you know that
Yes.
straight men have done that with me right up until the point that we're sleeping together, and then they're like, "Why do you wanna talk to me now?" And I'm like, "Well, we used to do this when I had insomnia, so why has it changed now?"
No, no, no. I saw this like post online one time that said the best part of being married. And I was like, this is something I want to print out and put on my vision board. It's like a Tumblr post. So it's probably not real, but I want it to be in my soul. And this person was saying that the best part of being married is by accident, this husband and wife both woke up and they couldn't sleep. So they decided to just hang out and not sleep together. And I was like, that is what marriage was made for.
That's what
Oh,
me and my
it's
cat do, like
yes. If I'm gonna have to like share a bed with someone and like have to fight over the covers every night the rest of my life, I want to be able 2 a.m. to go, hey, hey, I know you're not asleep. You want to watch the newest Love Is Blind with me?
exactly. Or Love is Blind around the world. My mom just recently told me that you have access to all of the Love is Blind
Dude,
in
dude,
all the
dude, dude.
countries.
Love Is Blind Japan
That's what
is
she
the
said.
no, 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 no. That made me cry every episode.
Yeah.
There is one couple on there. I have like I cried every episode. Oh my god, they were so cute. They were like we gave them a code name because they were our favorite couple. They were so top tier. They had a ship name. They were called Sweet and
Mhm.
Sour.
Cute.
Sweet and Sour made us cry every episode. I believe in love because of Sweet and Sour. I follow Sweet and Sour on Instagram and see the updates of their lives and I'm like, love has to be real
Yeah.
because of Sweet and Sour.
Yeah. I once had a straight couple that made me believe in heteronormative love to the point where I looked at him at some point and I was like, someone in your family has to be closeted. Like, I don't understand. And like he was like, I think this is a compliment. And I was like, it is, because you're just not like, you don't give me the ick. You're the only one. Anyone else brings their straight boyfriend around, and I'm like, oh God, look at what he's wearing.
Cancel bringing the boyfriends around.
Oh, cancel.
I have one friend I love. We have known each other for 10 years. I have never met any man she has dated.
And that's how it should be. That's respectful.
It is. It is. I see photos of him. I
Yeah.
know enough about him. I have never ever had a hangout ruined by him being there.
Yeah. Yeah. This is how I talk about marriage now. I will there is a man who I talk a lot about amongst friends. It's Lou Wilson from Dropout TV, in case anyone knows him. And I'll be like, I can't wait to marry Lou Wilson. And people are like, yeah, okay, good for you. Manifest that shit. I go, and then I can't wait to divorce him for Ashley Johnson from Critical Role. And they're like, or I go, or he's cool with everything. And then I'm like, and this is the chaos that I wanted all along. Like,
No,
and
there
that's
you
my
go.
and I manifest that every day. Every day I tell like I send a video and I'm like, look, it's my husband. They're like, yep, there he is. And then I'm like, and the woman I'll leave him for. And they're like, that's also her. There she is. But
No, they get it.
they get it. And Hillary Burton and Jeffrey Dean Morgan are they're the poles of my bisexuality. They are the representation. Put them on the platter to summon me.
Yeah, exactly.
Put a picture of them. Every time they're on Instagram or in a magazine or anything, Julia Washington, who's on this podcast, a lot, gets a DM where it's like, "These 2 are the hottest people I've ever seen stand next to one another. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
fair."
Oh, yeah. Well, that was like me recently learning that like Rami Malek and Emma Corrin are dating. And I was like, oh,
Mm,
yes, I see this. I
yeah,
was like, you know what? Actually, correct. If they can't have me, they should have each other.
they should have each other. The only time I was on board with Rat Boy Summer was when it was Sabrina Carpenter and Saltburn. Then I was like, "I like this. This is toxic in a way that I'm hot for."
No, dude, the whole Barry Keoghan, Sabrina Carpenter thing, I was so there for it. And again, I was there for it. I support female musicians, right?
Mhm.
Having a Rat Boy summer because I know I'm going to get the greatest album of my life. Why? Because you have to pay a toll for it making us all endure that. There
Yeah.
is some major compensation and reparations that must be paid when you date a Rat Boy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I also love a lot of Barry Keoghan's work as an artist. And I see it. I'm like, I see the vision. I
I
see
love
the
him.
like, you know what? I truly saw, I don't know if this is true. I think he's like an air sign. But what I saw between them as I was like, this is a very traditional earth sign, chaotic water sign
Yeah.
relationship. And I was like, I support it was a Wattpad novel come to life.
It
And
was.
I earned that.
Yeah. We all did. Also, here's another figment of my bisexuality. Chris Pine in his my aunt always had a roommate silk pajamas. My mother will send me photos of Chris Pine in his silk pajamas and loafers because that's what he's wearing 24 hours a day now. And she'll be like, and his long, like, raggedy hair. And she'll be like, "What's wrong with Chris Pine now?" And I'm like, "Nothing. He's perfect. He's my prince.
Oh,
He's
no.
my king."
No, literally. I don't think I have words to describe my deep love of Chris Pine. And it started because one, he's funny and he's beautiful. Like to meet somebody who's like beautiful and funny, that's hard for a man. Women do it all the time, effortlessly. But like, I was like, damn. And then I saw a single quote from him and it just sold me on him because I was just like, oh, you're not like the rest. Which he said, I don't have time for sports, like watching them. He's like, because I'm always reading my mom's old book club picks. And I was like, a man who reads his middle-aged mom's book club picks. A man who's consuming the exact media I need.
My love for Chris Pine is rainbow gay because of the lesbian pajamas and that quote. Okay. And
Yeah.
the end.
No, he for I think so many bisexuals is the perfect specimen
He is.
because he blends exactly what we love about everyone.
Yes. Chris Pine, if you're listening, and I know you are, I love you. Never change. I love Number one, I love when my like Hollywood cuties become weirdos overnight and it's like we weren't watching them closely enough and now all of a sudden they're a weirdo. Dan Stevens has recently done it.
Oh, okay, see, I didn't keep up with him. I watched Chris Pine pretty closely, and this is like so embarrassing to say on a podcast because my dad and his dad have worked together. So
Stop.
I'm like very like I'm always just like anytime I hear anything about like Robert Pine, I'm like, is Chris Pine coming along? I was like, I was like, my husband hasn't seen me in ages. My husband's never met me, but he doesn't need to know that. I'm always just like, will my husband be there? And like, it's gotten to the point now where my mom's like, isn't he kind of weird? I'm like, no, he's perfect.
He's
And she's like,
perfect. He's my perfect prince.
and you know, I have to say honestly, my mom though is so supportive. Like people like other people make jokes when they're in the room. They're like, "Isn't the age gap intense?" My mom's like, "For Noelle and Chris, no."
No.
And I'm like, "Thank you for supporting that."
Yeah, he's perfect. If your dad would like to email his dad that I'm proud of him, I would love that. It'd just be
We
like,
just put the dads on it.
right. My daughter's friend said on a hot mic that she was proud of your son. She really wanted him to know and that she likes his jammies, that he's wearing his street clothes. Like,
And
I,
you see, as a tourist, that makes me love him more. I
yes,
also want to leave my home in my jammies.
always. When that one picture of him just like going loafer first and the camera shooting up from the loafer and the silk pajamas, I was like, yeah, put that on my bisexual platter to summon me. Yeah.
No. See, and that's the thing, my bisexual pattern is Chris Pine, can be any iteration, but that photo also works. And also Kate McKinnon. And if you really want to go the extra mile, Kate McKinnon rapping in Hungarian.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah.
Hungarian girl, yes, she's who I'm bringing home to the village.
Yes. Oh, who are my well, Hillary Burton.
Yeah.
And and Sophia Bush. My
Oh.
my baby gay icon who also in her 30s went, "I feel like I'm it by Dick." And then found I'm here's what I'm waiting for. And because like I'm a baby gay, I live in the Midwest. I truly do not know how to date women. So I'm just waiting
No,
for
no, no woman does.
no woman does. And I'm truly just waiting for the gay adoption agency to deliver me my soccer wife. I'm like, where's my soccer player wife? Glennon got one. Sophia got one. Where's mine? Where's mine? I feel like I'm as important, if not more than those two. Like, where's my soccer wife? uh, I'd watch soccer if my wife was playing.
Oh, yeah, that's, like, the funny thing again, I like because of the whole Taylor Swift thing, I'm like,
Mhm.
"God, she has gotta be a stronger woman than me," because I could not go to that many NFL games, and
I'm
I
so
could not
bored
learn to
with
ca
it.
I could not learn to care. I'm sorry, my grandfather was like a quarterback, all this shit. I've dated sons of NFL players. I cannot care. I live so close to the my connection to the NFL is too much for me. I'm like, I cannot learn these rules. I cannot give a fuck. But I think a woman athlete in any sport, I am learning everything.
Everything.
I will become a sports doctor to be
Uh-huh.
able to dissect. Like, if I was dating any of those incredible gymnasts, the way
Oh,
I would learn about G force and gravity to understand the impacts of their flips and the beams.
yeah.
But I think it's also, and here's the thing where it all breaks down. I think it's very easy for us to make these claims with women and our like female crushes
Yeah.
because female relationships are built so much more in reciprocation.
Which is
And
why I am drawn more to them now.
exactly. And it's like, because I will hear so many guys, and I like to listen to the complaints of men
Mhm.
because I think it's interesting and it reveals a lot. And they'll be like, why is it women will have these outrageous things and say these outrageous things about dating other women? But when it comes to men, like they have no interest in that. I'm like, well, because statistically speaking, we do anything for a man and we're going to live to regret it. We
Yeah.
do anything for a woman. And yes, even if she like breaks my heart, runs me over with a truck, I still have gone, it was the best relationship I ever had.
Yeah.
Like the ending can be terrible. Like it can be a dumpster fire, but the relationship itself will have felt so much more equitable.
Mhm.
Again, there are exceptions to every rule. I'm
Of
not saying
course.
here, but it's like still the general consensus compared to dating men
Mhm.
is that the relationship's going to have a much better balance and payoff. So it's like, yeah, I will build her a shelf. I will make her food
Yeah.
because you know what? When I am sick and vomiting, she will take care of me and she will not make me feel like shit for it. She won't complain. My lesbian wife would never complain about taking my kids to the pumpkin patch
Never. Oh, I hated
and
that TikTok.
never in front of her, like in
Never
front of
in
the
front of
kids.
her. Well, and in front of my kids, in front of my cat. Um, so my lens of the conversation that you just had is from a woman who's just trying to figure this out and be like, how approach woman is
Yeah.
like my initial fear is like, who care? Like I've disappointed so many men and I've never cried or batted an eye at it or even thought about it. I just went, yeah, you deserve to be disappointed and moved on.
Oh, yeah.
But to disappoint a woman, I feel like I would just turn into a pillar of salt. I'd be like, I'm done here. I've disappointed one woman. I don't deserve to live. Like, I'm a statue, and
Yeah.
that's what I deserve. Like, it's so scary conceptualizing how, because I crave that like deep reciprocal relationship with women. And it's why I knew that dating men wasn't going to be it for me anymore because I'm like, I've just never liked a dude as much as I've liked any woman that I've ever talked to.
Yeah.
And, um, but it's so scary because I'm like, I've also, and I've said this before on the podcast that I've never dated authentically because you don't go authenticity first when dating men. You never do. And you're trained not to.
No, and I think that was one of the things that I encountered really early on because I became very aware of my own sexuality very early on in life, regardless of if I did or didn't pursue it. But a lot of my early on experiences were with women first. And I think that that programmed me differently because for me, I approach so many of these things from more of an equal stance. And for example, while in interviews and these types of things, I'll often default to like bisexual or pansexual for ease. I internally and at my core do not use a label because I date individuals. And that's just something I've always aligned with more is because for me, it's about regardless of so many elements, regardless of if you present with masculine energy, feminine energy, regardless of anatomy, all these things, there are inherent things I'm attracted to across men and women. And if you really like look at the people, you'll kind of see that physically it's a very different level of things. But everyone that I've dated or had crushes on all share core similarities in who they are as people.
Mhm.
And it's always things that tend to align with my perception of the lifestyle we would live,
Yeah.
which is like I've discovered a big thing for me with attraction. So it's like I love the idea of something hot and heavy and all of that, and that's fun. But what I really love is like the fun moments of like imagination and play and all of those things that come into it. And kind of like that like established intimacy.
Mhm.
And so it's always been really funny for me with dating because so many times, like, my weird, like, imposter syndrome or all these little things will pop up in such a, like, person by person way that'll make it very complicated to just, like, decode and be like, "So why did that rejection hurt me more than others?" And it'll always break down to these weird things that I, like, didn't realize. And when you're young, you've got so much going on, and, like, everybody, especially if you're a woman, everybody's telling you all the reasons you should hate yourself. So, like, when you get rejected, the first thing is like, "Oh, it hurt my feelings because I don't think I'm like, they don't think I'm pretty." And it's like, "Oh, no, upon further review, that rejection hurt because I actually been really vulnerable with them about this part of me as, like, an actor or creative." And them rejecting me didn't feel so much like they rejected me based off of my appearance. It felt like they rejected me because they didn't appreciate what I shared. And it's like, so all of that gets like so much more complicated, but it can be very hard when your friends are predominantly heterosexually dating to understand that these rejections can be much deeper if you're pursuing people in a different way because you're not pursuing someone based off of, oh, you're a guy and you're single. I'm a girl and I'm single, so I'm going to ask you out.
Yeah.
And when you're not dating with these pretenses, you're not dating, leading anyone on, you instead date and you actually go, actually, on this first date to see if we really have something worth my time, I'm actually going to let at least 2 freak flags fly. If you roll with it, we will continue dating. And people couldn't understand how I would date like that. And like, if I'm going on a date with a guy, second date, I'm not wearing makeup, maybe mascara. I'm like, I cannot be bothered. Why? If they're going to see me the next morning, would I put makeup on my face tonight? No. Now, if I'm going out with my gal pals and we're having a fun night out, I am dressing. I'm a performer. I am dressing up. But on a date, I have such a hard time because I'm like, why? I don't want them to like suddenly decide they're not attracted to me because what they fell in love with first is like the billboard poster of me.
Right. Or the natural Kardashian look that we've all
Please.
perfected.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, screw that. You're actually going to see me with like looking deranged. And I had one
Yeah.
ex that like I got into his car one time after having spent like a couple of days at his place and he had roommates. And I got in the car, flipped the little mirror down. I saw what I looked like and I was like, why? I was like, I just had a whole conversation with your roommates. Why didn't you tell me? And he's like, I thought it was intentional. And I was like, no, just don't look like this. It's just like, no. And so I had to sit there and explain to him that no woman wants to have eyeliner on only one eye.
No, and that's a really good rule is like no makeup second date because again, back like this whole idea of like what does it look like when I re-enter the idea of Natalie falling in love and I'm like, but this time I want to do it authenticity first. Like because I tried it when I was on fake Love is Blind back in Dayton and it was all on Zoom and I was just like, I'm a witch. I love abortion. I'm a feminist. My cat is my soulmate. I was just telling all the freak flags because I was talking to a blank Zoom screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, who cares what I tell this person? I would be so good on Love is Blind because, like, if I'm not seeing you, you don't exist. I'll say anything. Like, I would be so comical on Love is Blind. I'd just be sitting there eating my Chicago mixed popcorn, just being like, I don't know. And like my friend Annie, Like, she got to paint my nudes because I saw a TikTok where she was asking for nudes and I sent them to her. And like and then that's ending up on Netflix.
Oh, no, I mean, again, I joke with my friends, and I'll be like and it's a running gag. I'm just like, "You don't understand. I don't like, God rejected me. My
Mhm.
life is actually controlled by a staff of screenwriters, and every once in a while, too many of them get the flu and call out. And so then there's the writer's assistant. She is 21 years old. Her writing credits and experience are Wattpad, and she gets to write an episode of my life. And for example, the last time that she got control over the writer's room, I ended up twerking on Shabuzi and Young Gravy, and there's a video somewhere of that happening. Okay, no one needs to see it. It doesn't need to exist, but it did happen. Why did it happen? I was trying to rescue two of my friends. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that they were there voluntarily to get the free drinks. I didn't know. I'd also spent most of the night babysitting this other girl who was just like, needed babysitting. I didn't know her. She was a stranger, but I did it, right? And so, I'm just like, no, this is screenwriter. And so I'm like, I know that I would be crazy on Love is Blind, not because screenwriter would write that episode, but because I would sit there and I would try to recount my life and the players in it and how I end up in these situations and be like, so if you're dating me, are you prepared for this? And if they look at me and they're like, why'd you make these choices? And I say, I don't. I just show up and
And
things
it happened.
happen.
Yeah. No,
And that's
exactly.
And honestly, I think maybe that's why like lifestyle is such a big factor on who I crush on and like who I
Yeah.
choose to date. I'm like man, woman, NB, anything that your pronouns are. Like, can you go with whatever this Wattpad girl does to my life?
I so I try to do it like the good old authentic way where I was like, I'll just say what fucking ever. It's a blank Zoom screen. And he was laughing and like volleying back. And in my brain, I'm like, that means you're into it. Cause I
Mm.
had another guy get off when we all finally like met in person after the quarantine or whatever. And he was like, when you started saying that you have a personal relationship with all of the animals at the Columbus Zoo and you speak to them and they know your voice by like and like you just go in there and you're like, "Hello, my friends," and they all come towards you. Like we talked in the men's room about how that's insane. And I was like, "Oh, okay, so I was the crazy one in the season. That's great. I made it out in a couple. He must really like me considering I'm the crazy." And then one day we were at a friend's house in his pool and one of the guys from the fake Love is Blind told his like former college roommate, I don't know, I was meeting one of his friends and I'm in the pool and they're outside of the pool. And he goes, "Oh my God, this is Natalie. She was so funny on the show. We all loved her so much, so much personality, so many things to say. We love her." And but like in a straight man way, however a
Yeah.
straight man would say all that. And the man that I'm letting penetrate me literally looks our mutual friend in the eye and goes, "I thought we all decided that Natalie was a whack job who we were surprised even made it on the show." And I was like, I drowned myself now. I'm just going to drown.
Oh.
And I was like, so I asked him eventually, I was like, I thought that you were like into all my weird shit. And he's like, I thought you were doing a bit the entire time. And I was like, well, I was, but all of my bits are in true life fashion. Like, you don't just get bits.
No, I hate that.
Yeah.
Saw Red, that whole story. Um, I get with his friend because his friend at least seems nice and endearing
Yeah.
comparatively.
Yeah.
No, that's terrible. But I also get it. I dated a guy like the most serious relationship and I could not be funny with him.
I hate that.
It was the most I mean, anyone who's read my book is familiar with a lot of this relationship. But it was one of the hardest components. So of course, after the breakup you date a guy who you only laugh with. Which is fantastic by comparison. It's like, is there anything intellectual here? No, but I'm laughing the whole time. So that's a huge one. But no, I remember because it was just like anytime I would like even a little bit, and I'm a chaotic bisexual. Like, I'm sorry. And I'm not one of those people, I'm not intentionally funny. Like, I am known for comedy in the LA acting scene. Honey, it's not I'm not trying to be funny. I'm sorry. Neither of my parents are neurotypical. My sister's neurodivergent. Like, I'm sorry. Everyone I know is part of the LGBT, like the LaCroix.
The LaCroix,
Like,
the LaCroix.
yeah, I'm not going to be normal. And like, I'm sorry, I was raised by like a bunch of hippies, homeschooled on the mountainside in Colorado. Society's expectations of a woman did not touch me until it was too late.
Until it was too late.
Like, I'm going to be weird. I'm going to do weird voices. Like, oh my God, I'm known for like having a slap happy hour, which is if I've been awake too long or I have not had enough food, or alternatively, I have slept too much and had too much food, I'm going to get weird. I'm going to have an hour. And during that hour, will the last 15 minutes be spent with me laughing till I'm in tears over a joke that is so funny I can't even say it out loud because I'm laughing? Yes. I actually think that makes me one of the greatest people on the planet.
Yeah, it does. Because I've also had people be like, because I can tell when I'm trying to be funny and when I'm not trying to be funny. And it kind of hurts my feelings that I get the most laughs when I'm not trying. So one time someone did say, like, Natalie, you're just so funny because you say things like, well, and that's how it is. And because I just say things like they're absolute truth, I just went, yeah, it's probably the autism. And then she laughed harder and went, I don't think you're autistic. And I was like, all right, well, the jury's still out. No one will diagnose, no one's taking this brain on. They won't diagnose. At this point, I just tell people, so I have an undiagnosed brain. I know it has some of the letters, possibly all of them.
Oh, yeah.
But no one's tackling it, let alone trying to medicate it. They'll
No.
only medicate my depression, which might also still be my head. I'm not sure.
No, well, it cracks me because people are always like, so do you have? I'm like, look, the only neurodivergency I have are kind of the boring ones. I've got synesthesia, so I hear color. Congratulations. Um, and I'm dyslexic. So good fucking luck texting me. And so it's funny because everybody's like, but you seem, and I was like, oh, like I have memory issues and I've got a crazy personality. I talk too loud. I'm like, thanks, baby. That's trauma.
Yeah, it's the trauma. Yeah, that's
It's
what
the trauma. Like,
those
that's
are.
where
Yeah, honestly, those are the letters that I have. The TRAUMA. That was a real close one. I was like, do I know how to spell trauma? I'm doing it on the mic.
you know, you're so lucky. I would not have known. I'm dyslexic. You are going to get no support from me.
You're right. You're just gonna be like, yeah, that's how. Yeah, you did that.
Maybe
You
trauma.
did that.
Yeah. Is there a second T? Maybe.
Listen, recently, some man who knew things about money and was trying to help me with mine asked me, "What are your money goals?" And I had to tell my mom, I was like, hey, I'm not ignoring his question. I just have to like Google what money goals are because I don't have any. Like, I have to ask Chat GPT what he meant. Like, what are my goals, Chat GPT?
And again, that's such a man thing to ask. What are your money goals? No, I don't want to be asked that. I want to be asked, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what type of blanket you want on your bed? Like those kind of fluffy ones or like a faux Sherpa one?
A cooling blanket.
No, exactly. Like, question, weighted blanket, not weighted blanket.
Here's the thing. I think that I truly am a sociopath because I bought myself a cooling blanket because I was like, I get so hot. And now I use the cooling blanket as a shield to the real comforter that's making me
Oh,
warm.
you know what? I can see the vision though. I can
Hmm.
see it.
Yeah. Because I think that's what bisexuality is, just wanting to be like somewhere lukewarm. Like just,
You know, it's like the hard thing with bisexuality that you always go back and forth between is do I want to have everything or do I want a mid level of everything?
oh God,
Like
yeah.
you're forever stuck in this cycle where you know what? Here it is. Bisexuality is perpetually playing Goldilocks and the Three Bears,
Cute.
but never finding the little bear
Got the right chair with the right porridge
and the right bed. That's
and the
just
right bed.
no. You never find it. That is bisexuality. You're always going like mama bear, papa bear, but it's not right.
Listen, I hope at some point someone decoded the misogyny out of this. I had bullet points where I was like, by erasure. That's misogyny. Did you know?
Yeah.
Listener? Yeah, it's misogyny. And here's the thing. like, why am I mansplaining misogyny to people where I'm like, "Did you guys know that the reason why they won't believe in bi people is because of homophobia and misogyny?"
No, I
Okay,
came
as
in
long
with
as
so
we
many
know.
talking points about how, like, we try to, like, why we don't have femme bisexual relationships shown, how the continuous argument of who wears the pants is just patriarchy. Like, I came in with so many talking points.
Yeah.
And instead, I feel like we instead appreciated the joy of being bisexual.
Yes, which we hardly get to do on this show is
And
actually, like,
yeah.
talk about the joy. But, like, we also talked about it when we were talking about sapphic relationships and how it's like, when you enter queer relationships, you still end up with these really weird societal pressures and to be like, "Well, which one of you's the man?" And it's like, "Well, we took a survey and we decided that we didn't want one."
Yeah. No, exactly, and that's, like, the thing, and so that's why I feel like this conversation is very funny because aside from my couple, like, weird dating anecdotes, what it is, we just really got to enjoy actually being bisexual and the fact that there's no easy answer for it.
But what we didn't solve is, how am I gonna be brave about approaching women? And then you said you won't be because it's not a thing.
No, it's not. So here's the solution I've come up with. Listen to this.
Okay.
It's called a wing woman.
Oh.
So, I have not experienced a wing woman working for me when it comes to dating before. Maybe. But, like, it was with a man, so it doesn't count. Like,
Mm.
I can't remember it, okay? But I have learned also I should never be a wing woman in a queer situation. I tried to wing woman for my friend, and instead I ended up with the girl, so that was a little complicated. Bad on me. I mean, to some degree, like, and not my intention. I can't help who she liked. I was her flavor. It was a great time. We still talk. She wrote a fanfic about me. It was beautiful. Again, this is why we love women. But I've just learned wing women. It's kind of the only way that my my friends who go like to lesbian only bars end up meeting other lesbians is you have to have one friend who, because it's not their pussy on the line, will go up and do it for you. They are also don't have to be someone who would ever do it for themselves. They just have to go, if Natalie doesn't get laid tonight, I'm going to walk into oncoming traffic. Therefore, I must make this introduction happen. And that's the girl you take with you. And she, alternatively, it could be a very great ally man. He could be a pan man, a gay man himself, but you need a someone who truly feels that sense of the headlights coming towards them if you do not get a woman's phone number.
The other misogyny point that's a real mindfuck for me and keeps me off of dating is I can't get over this, like, Degrassi media, like, TV point that, like, women who have been queer their entire life do not want to train me. They're like, "Ew, not you, a baby."
I feel like, and this is going to be a really controversial hot take,
Okay.
I feel like there are people who are the LGBTQ equivalent of a fuckboy who are
Oh,
not interested in that. What you need is a love connection.
yeah, that's what I want.
Because I feel like, again, and maybe this is again my own projection, I I truly think regardless of gender identity, biology, any of that, if someone that I truly was developing feelings for looked at me and was like, "Hey, I am a virgin."
Mhm.
Period. Like, doesn't matter what type of sex, just any type of sex. I am truly a virgin. The most I've done is ever kissed. I'd be like, "Okay. So, I get to train you to do it how I only like it." And you have to, but I think that thing is like, you have to have, and this is the thing. I think I could only do that though with someone who has a good sense of humor and can laugh at themselves because we're not going to get through that unless we can laugh at each other. For example, there was a guy, he did things his own way. And I was like, you're doing that fine. I prefer it like this. And you know what? Power to this man, truly power to this man. You could tell he was like raised by a sister. And not in like an incest way. I need to clarify that. Raised by a sister in the sense of he knew how to take notes from a woman in any situation. Took the note, went home. Don't know how he studied. I don't care. Came back. Not only did what I asked, embellished on what I said my preference was, executed it beautifully, and was so happy like a little puppy about it. Cause like as soon as he was done, he was like, "Was it better?" He's like, "Was it better?" And it's like, "Yes, it was much better."
Do I
And
get my
that's
treats?
yeah, no, exactly. And it's like, that's the energy and the coupling that is necessary with it. So it's about finding someone who's also looking for something meaningful, who wants to share in the fact that you would leave them for hair braiding with,
Dave Batista.
Dave Batista.
Here's the thing, when people ask me what my kink is and literally have no idea, I go, "I just like to laugh in bed," and I didn't realize that not everyone likes to do that. Like, people are like, "Why are you always laughing?" And I'm like, "I'm having a fun time. I thought we were having a fun time."
No, I swear I'm one of those people, again, maybe I'm crazy. The best experience, in my opinion, is, and again, maybe it's because 'cause I'm a Taurus, maybe it's because 'cause I'm an artist, maybe it's because 'cause I'm, outside the realm of misogyny. I think the best is when you spend a night with a partner. And in the course of the night, you have had steamy sex, you've had romantic sex, and you've had funny sex. I want all 3. If I don't have, like, a little bit of all 3 in there, I don't think I will have had as good of an experience as I could, you know?
Exactly.
And the first time I'm with someone, I want it to be funny. I want there to be a little bit of funny.
Yeah, because you like, number 1, like, sex is weird.
It's a
I
little like, you know what? If you think about it too hard, it's a little gross. And Craig Ferguson has like a whole stand-up bit about it
Yeah,
that's phenomenal. Think
like,
about it too hard, it's a little gross.
one time I had sex with a man that I had known for 6 years. Like, I was a grown up now. I had known him when I wasn't a grown up. We were having sex as grown ups, and he just kept boring his eye contact with me directly into my eyes. I was like, "We've never done this. Like, we've taken car rides, we've gone to movies, we've held hands at Steak and Shake just as friends. Like, we've never, what, stop looking at me, you weirdo." Like, no laughing. I'm like, "Why aren't we laughing?"
No, like there's just so many things. It's also like when you know someone emotionally so well, right? And then they see a part of your body they've never seen before. Like they discover like a birthmark and they'll be like, "Whoa, where did that come from?" I'm like, "I've had that since birth." And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Dude, you know me up here in my brain. You don't know my body." Like, hold up now. Don't speak with that kind of authority. And it's like, it's okay if it's funny, if there's like a joy to it, if they're like, "Oh, wait, you have a birthmark?" Like, where did that come from? Cute, adorable. I can tell a funny anecdote. If they're like, "Oh, where did that come from?" I'm like, ew. Who do you
Ew,
think
weird.
who do you think you are, Antonio Banderas? Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, Puss in Boots, leave.
Yeah,
Like,
panties back on. Goodbye.
yeah, I'm like, and people are like, "Stanley, that's not normal to be turned off by eye contact." And I was like, "Well, I was." I was like, "Stop it." Like,
I'm one of those people, I think it's entirely possible to be turned off by quite literally anything.
anything.
If it's and again, this is where I'm like, it comes down to the person. I can have one person do something and be like, okay, never again. Learned I don't like that. I can have somebody else do it where I'm like, you know what?
For
Maybe
you,
we can figure it out. I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying it's not gonna stop what's already in motion.
yeah, and I'm like, yeah, so, like, sex is weird to begin with. I love doing bits. Like, I'm like, "Why wouldn't we do bits? We're always doing bits. It's how I got you here to begin with."
No, I had one friend tell me, and I thought this was the greatest thing ever. She was like, "My boyfriend and I don't role play, but we do improv our sex." And I
Love
was like,
that.
"That sounds amazing."
You're playing Game Changer in the bedroom? What up, Dropout TV? I love that.
No, literally. And I think that also, again, because so many people that are part of the LGBTQ community and so many pan and bisexual people have already had to fight back from society telling them that their sexual desires or their attraction or their interest or their pleasure is already so wrong, just inherently, that it has freed it up for so much more play and fun and acceptance of foreplay. And you, especially when you're not focused on purely penetrative sex, get to expand the definition of sex to be so much more experience based. And inherently, it is so much better then. And that's why I feel like there are so many people out there, for yourself or anyone who's just starting to get out there, where it's like, look, you can find someone who just wants to play. And it's okay if they have to teach you the game. I just think a lot of misogyny comes around and trying to tell us that it doesn't tell us, it just hypes up these outlier voices who, for whatever reasons, and I think there's a lot of truth in speaking to like the I'm burnt out. I don't want to be somebody's phase because it's about talking about not being taken advantage of and not being like, just because you had a shitty breakup, don't break my heart. And I think that part of it and that clarification is wonderful. Or I don't want you to just use my body. I'm not going to teach you all these things just for you to go back to your shitty ex. Like I think there's a lot of fairness in that because I think that there are a lot of people who I think are not always don't always lead with their heart because again, they don't realize the difference in relationships outside of the lens of misogyny, which is like, hey, don't be unkind to someone just because you've only ever been in unkind relationships.
Oh, what a line. Put it on a t-shirt. Like I number one, now in our Dave Bautista rom-com, there has to be a scene where they're playing Zip Zap Zom in
Yes.
the bedroom. Cause now we're improving in the bedroom. I want to be friends with your friends. Like, yeah,
Right?
just zip zap zom. I have it like
That's how I want every orgy to start, please.
yes, zip zap zom. And you're just eliminating people. It's like, okay, you two in the corner kissing.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's like that weird. Listen, the secondhand embarrassment I got during Drive By Dolls with the like basement makeout party, but I was like, is this a thing and can I sign up? Or is it only a thing with 20 somethings?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Have I aged out? Like,
Okay, but hear me out. You're a writer. I feel like if you haven't already, I want the Midwest indie comedy about a bunch of women who later in life are getting either back out on the dating scene or are discovering that they want to start dating women and they form like a Lonely Hearts Club, but it's a basement makeout club for late bloomers.
we have to write this.
Like, hear me out, guys.
Hear me out, guys. Number one, part of the reason, and now we're just talking about why I'm bad at writing, even though I'm good at it. I crave the writer's room. It sucks
Mhm.
sitting down to write something by yourself.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sucks. I'm like, I had to come up with all of it and decide that the jokes are good. That sucks. Where are the team of people to be like, you're on to something there, kid? Like,
Oh, no. It's why I predominantly have worked in like writing pairs, like
yeah,
partnerships, co-writers. Um, why me? Why just me?
why just me? Me? You. Spending time with me and with my own thoughts? Ah, I hate it.
Again, it goes back to the improv in the bedroom. Like, I just want somebody to play with. I was a lonely child on the playground.
I was so lonely on the playground before the popular girl at school in third grade was like, why don't you just come over here instead of singing your weird little song over there? Why don't you just come over here and hang out with us? Because it turns out I was pretty popular in school and I had the mentality of a lonely girl.
You see, I was the opposite. I was theoretically, despite being homeschooled, semi-popular because it was a small town. But I always opted to play on the swing by myself because I was like, y'all are loud. I want to hear what's cooking up here. I was writing fanfics on the swing set. I was like, leave me alone.
Yeah. I would sit underneath the jungle gym. I don't know that dome thing. And I would make up new lyrics to the Brandy Cinderella Roger Hammerstein song in
Oh,
my own little corner, in my own little chair. And I would just like rhyme India with things. I'm like, I'm not rhyming now. I'm not doing it. But I would just sing. And finally, the popular girl was like, hey, you with the weird song, like you in your drama.
oh
Why
yeah.
don't you just come over here? And I was like, what? But my one act show that I'm doing for my beanie babies.
No, exactly. And you
Yeah,
know what? That is exactly how you get a woman to fall in love with you at the bar.
honestly, I
May
just
I recreate
mutter.
my one act Beanie Baby song?
So, how I think that I'm going to get my love story, and maybe this can go into our new series about the women and the Lonely Hearts Club for women who want to date women. We have in my hometown, it hasn't opened yet, but one of the restaurants is also doing like a karaoke bar situation. But the
Ooh.
theme of the karaoke bar is there are animatronic founding fathers. Yeah, that's the
Oh,
face you should be making.
okay. Yeah, at home listeners, I'm so beyond confused.
Yeah,
Um, so is it the founding fathers, and this is so gay of me to ask, is it the founding fathers and like you got an American flag sticker on the back of your truck, or like in the Hamilton, yeah, way?
I think it's to choose your own adventure because they're just animatronics, like at the
Where
Hall of
okay, I've got
Presidents.
so many. So is this eventually going to be Five Nights at Freddy's, but
Uh,
with the animatronics? Like I've is it Abraham Lincoln and Disneyland? Like I've got so many questions.
we all have so many questions. Why won't they open this up already so I can get in there? Because I think that the way I'll make my love connection is when, because I sing it every day to my nephew, I perform perfectly, note for note, Pink Pony Club, while
Oh,
grinding on President Abraham Lincoln. As
okay.
because what else am I supposed to? I know I'm going to get
Okay.
kicked out
Okay.
of this bar.
Yeah, but also, fun fact about me. Um, it seems like maybe my ancestor was one of Abe Lincoln's boyfriends.
Cute.
So I support the gay agenda because Abe Lincoln supported my gay great grandfather.
I love that.
It's great trivia. You can look up Abraham Lincoln and Captain Fancher.
Oh,
You can it's
yeah.
on Google.
So
Um the
I'm,
Google gives the like very heterosexual account of the story, but
yeah, they
the
were great
family
friends.
story always sprinkles in a little bit more because of Captain Fancher's letters to Lincoln. So
Cool.
enjoy that, historians.
Um, yeah, so I'm gonna get kicked out of this bar because
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine that in Northwest Indiana they want me and my gay agenda coming in and being like, I'm mounting President Lincoln and singing Pink Pony Club, and I brought boas for everyone. Like,
I think actually they should make you the manager.
honestly, I don't. What did you think? And like when they try to kick me out because I'm being belligerent, I'm gonna be like, what did you think was going to happen in this bar with the with robot uh Thomas Jefferson, and I'm not going to sing Lizzo's uh Truth
Anything truth
Hurts.
hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not while humping President Jefferson. What did you think was going to happen in this bar? I need to know. What were your plans? Because that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't think that they didn't think about this.
Right. How did you know?
I mean, also, hold up. Imagine this. I hear all of this and I raise you. Imagine you singing Unholy
Oh.
while grinding on George Washington.
Oh, yeah. Just like make a playlist. And it's whatever I'm singing, I'm grinding on a founding father. Like,
No, literally. Oh, throw some Ricky Martin in there.
oh, and like I'm doing like, hey, everyone, remember when we all gave Riverdale a shot?
Oh,
and Lily did that really weird striptease to Sad World or whatever that's Strange World or whatever that song's called.
dude, she's such a queen.
She's such a queen, but like we were all weirded out by it. I'm doing
Oh,
that on a founding father.
oh, no, exactly. I was like, she said, look, I don't get to make choices. I cash checks. And you know
Yeah.
what? Support her for that. But what were they thinking?
What were they thinking? And then
Putting
they
our girl through that.
putting our girl through that with her mother in the room and a Sprouse twin. Well, this has been fantastic.
This is incredible as always.
Highbrow information that I think we changed lives today. And
Oh, I
definitely
know we
mine.
changed my life today.
Yeah. You have
we're
to
doing
come.
we're doing trickle down economics,
We're
but it's
doing
with change.
yeah. Listen, the next time I'm in LA, I'm calling you. And the next time
Oh
you're in
yeah.
Chicago, you're calling me. And the things that we'll get up to and we'll live stream it or something. I don't know. I'm
Oh
always
yeah.
threatening to live stream my life. Like we'll just live stream it. Like
No, we will. We will go somewhere chaotic in Chicago and we will
yes.
live it up. We'll start
My
the night at Mary's Hamburgers.
yes. My favorite bit is when someone tells me, like, so this is super secret and I don't want you to tell anyone. And then I immediately go, should I turn off TikTok live?
Yeah.
It's my favorite bit. I don't think anyone else is left because I do it all the time. Whenever someone's like, so I wrote about this person in my book and I'm going to tell you what their real name is, but I don't want you spreading this around. And I'm like, should I turn off TikTok live? Like, should I? I don't know. It was just on.
Actually, Natalie, the plan was that I don't know that you're on TikTok live, and I confess it's
Oh,
I
okay.
can't get sued
Alright.
for defamation.
Right. Should we turn it off now and restart it? And restart it?
Really,
Okay.
really think ahead.
Think ahead. Think ahead. Uh, yeah. I love the internet. The internet brought Noelle and I together.
No, it did.
It did. Um, what do you think is the best message and or lesson you could pass on to any woman who's questioning her sexuality or is starting that time old tradition of experimenting or whatever?
I think that the best thing to do is stop listening to anybody else.
100%. That
Because you're gonna get some good advice, but honestly, a lot of what you're gonna get are things that are going to because we like to problem solve, instead of hearing all the ways that it could go right, you're gonna hear every single bit of advice somebody says and hear how it could go wrong,
mhm.
and that's going to cause you more distress than if you just give yourself permission to be exactly who you are and that you don't have to know.
Yeah.
This whole thing of percentage wise, I don't care what the statistics of the types of people I date are. I don't. I gave up caring. You don't have to prove your sexuality to anyone but you. It is a lifelong journey. It does not go away. Other people's opinions really, really don't matter.
Yeah. I so part of that like fun trauma brain that I have, the TRAUMA brain, is that when someone says something to me, like women don't want to date women who didn't realize they didn't want to date women until they were 35. That becomes a rule. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah. And like, it's so dangerous that this is how my brain is wired. And I know it's some sort of misogyny that I haven't like stumbled into about like why my brain wired this way. But it could be a rule from a show as stupid as Degrassi.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
someone says it on Degrassi, and my brain's like, and now we can't do that anymore. Like, and it'll be like silly things like you don't eat that with cheese. And I'm like, oh, you can't just put cheese on that. And it's like you can put cheese on anything if you're trying hard enough. If you're finding the right cheese, you can do it.
Well, it's like
Um,
that famous Tumblr post where it's like, I paid this much in therapy to complain about how I think my day starts off bad because I have to eat breakfast food for breakfast. And my therapist said, you literally don't.
you don't.
You can eat anything for breakfast and it counts as breakfast. Somebody was like, I pay $175 to be told that I have permission to eat anything for breakfast.
Yeah, include you know what I love to do in the fall? I love to get a Marie Calendar apple pie, Dutch apple pie, because apple pie is bullshit if it doesn't have the crumblies. It has to have the
Hmm.
crumblies. And then I bake it on a Sunday night. And for that entire week, I have apple pie a la mode for breakfast because I'm like, it's apple strudel. Like it's a toaster strudel that's just in pie form.
Yeah, literally, again, I think those kind of rules are made up. Also, Lord knows, I could die within 2 hours of breakfast. I should start my day off with what makes me happy.
Exactly.
It could be the best or worst day of my life, but I know that starting off any story by saying, so my day actually started when I had apple pie with ice cream for breakfast. Like any day is automatically more interesting to me if I
Yeah,
start the story like that.
exactly. So like my brain will make a rule like that. And it's what kept me on the straight and narrow, as Casey Musgraves has called it.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I love the a queer anthem. She didn't mean to make a queer anthem for me. That is it.
Dude, it's my anthem, so I'll
Yeah.
take
What's the song called? It's not Rainbow. That's
it's
the
um
sad
it's
one.
it's Follow Your Arrow.
Follow Your Arrow. Thank you. I was like, I know what the song is.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Which I love that song. That was her apologizing for being homophobic. She was like, I actually learned that it was wrong for me to be this way. So
you
she
know,
wrote an apology song.
do you know how often I was just Midwest homophobic without realizing that that's homophobia?
Yep.
So I wish I could get to the misogyny point of my brain that's like, if anyone is on the TV or is older than you or is just more put together than you and they say something, that's a rule, including anything about your sexuality. I think it's so important to like just be like, none of this fucking matters. Like, have we figured that out yet? None of this matters. Like,
No, I have a friend that has a saying that's so good. It goes, do you think this mattered to the dinosaurs when the asteroid hit?
oh, put it
And
on a t-shirt.
no, and I'm like, you know what? Because it's just absurd enough to actually register in my brain.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I actually don't think the dinosaurs had an established society, but also, you know what, you're right. When the asteroid came to hit, did it matter? No.
Yeah.
No. And that's so much of these rules.
So I'm just like hurtling more and more into my 30s with this dumb rule that I'm unlovable because I was like what, late to the game. I was also a straight late bloomer. Like, ew. Boys
No,
are like high school boys, ew.
oh,
Men who are grooming you because you're a high schooler, ew.
oh,
Like
yeah.
I was a late bloomer there too. So like,
Also, college frat boys, ew. You know,
ew.
it's tough out there.
It's tough out there when you've decided that your only option is men who like football. Like, Taylor,
Oh.
call me. We don't have to do this. I'm so bored with it. Like, can I be honest with you? I'm so bored of Kelsey. I'm over it. But yeah, I forgot what my lesson was. I feel like it was really profound, but I think it's, yeah. I think I'm just going to be like, follow your arrow wherever it goes, unless it follows you to homophobia. And then fuck you. Why did your arrow go there? That was bad. Watch Bros. It makes me so mad that straight people didn't show up for Bros, and then Billy Eichner had to call them out about that to be like, well, maybe if straight women showed up for Bros, we'd be getting a sequel. And I'm like, God damn it.
So, one of the biggest reasons in entertainment that lesbian stories are underrepresented is because straight women will not watch lesbian stories.
I love lesbian stories.
Yeah, but
Uh,
you're not straight, sweetie.
Damn it. That's right. That's what this whole episode is about. Hmm. You know what's fun when people are really mad about a show that came out like 30 or 40 years ago, Xena the Warrior Princess, and they're rewatching it going, is this gay? And I'm like, it's always been gay. That's why we were watching it. Why were you watching it?
No, but what was hilarious was I had one friend whose like OG crushes were on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Obsessed with that. Had only ever seen the daytime TV edit that removed the kiss.
Oh,
So we were there, world shatter on YouTube, on the floor, on a phone, tears streaming. And this friend literally was like, if I had known this years ago, my dating life would have been so much better. She's like, my sexual identity would have been fulfilled so early on. And sure enough, I will not lie to you. After watching that episode, her femme relationships through the roof. Happiest, healthiest they've ever been. Is it purely because of Buffy the Vampire Slayer? I don't know. But it seems like more than a
I
coincidence.
love to give Sarah Michelle Gellar credit for everything. Like I don't think she gets enough credit, but in my book, she makes the world go round. I'm like, Sarah Michelle Gellar does everything. Also, Matthew Lillard told me hello at Gen Con, and in my entire year, he's so nice.
Dude, I freaking love Matthew. He
Yeah.
is a gem.
I remembered we talked long enough. I remembered my lesson.
Yay.
So things get made a rule in my head. But then my best friend started combating the rules to be like, Taylor Tomlinson has this bit about her experimentation with sexuality where she's like, I don't want to learn new things. Learning new things is hard. I can't be bad at one more thing. And I used to be like, yes. And that's why I've never tried Taylor, because Taylor Tomlinson and I sometimes live parallel existences. But my friend said this when I went, my dad told me that driving in the mountains from LA to Modesto was going to be scary, scary, scary. And then I got onto the mountains and it was a four-way highway. And what's ever been scary about a four-way highway? Now, mountains do get treacherous because of rain and bullshit or whatever. And it was a sunny day. And my friend said, stop listening to other people. You've always learned to do whatever it is you want to do or not want to do, but had to. Like, you can learn anything,
Oh, yeah.
including sex stuff, even though it's weird.
Touche. There is one girl on TikTok, can't remember her, during COVID taught me some new tricks. And I was like, wait, you can learn sex stuff.
You can learn sex stuff at any age. It's not like, I mean, you
Honestly,
can't.
I would hope you could learn sex stuff at any age, just because I'm like, it gets so boring.
Listen, there was that whole Hulu movie, Good Luck Leo Grande, where Emma Thompson at like upper 60s, early 70s was like, my husband died and I've never orgasmed. So you try. Here's some money. And she learned some shit. And we got to see like Emma Thompson like semi-nude, which is, like, something I never knew that I craved, but it's like, I do want to see older women just being like, "I would like to come, please," and then, like,
Oh,
fulfilling that.
no, exactly. No, please do that. Also, can we please cast the woman from Ted Lasso and everything? I need
Yes.
that Dommy mommy in my life.
Yes, we love her.
Just give me more just give me more middle-aged women.
Yes, we love middle-aged women, middle-aged mommy women. Like,
Please.
give us the dungeon mommies.
I don't care if they're late bloomers or not. I need them in everything.
We also now have to write a show called Dungeon Mommies.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Or get it on VH1 as a reality TV show with Bret Michaels. I don't know.
What if we did both?
We can do both. Yeah. Yeah.
The first ever both.
Because Rock of Love was also fiction, I found out too late in life.
Wow.
Yeah. He
There you
was
go.
married with one of his baby's moms during that whole production, and no one knew but Brett, I guess. So,
More you know.
the more you know. Bret Michaels is a liar is what I'm saying. What's a manifestation that you would like to put into the general collective about people who are, looking to jazz it up a little bit, but are afraid to? Me.
I think, again, the biggest thing is patience.
Mhm.
Understanding as well that just because you have hit one milestone in your journey does not mean that you have curbed all of the internal criticism that came from external sources. And I think it's one of those things where just because it seems challenging doesn't mean it's not worth the reward. And by that, I mean, I think that it can be so confusing and so scary to be in a relationship that challenges little basic rules that we didn't even realize exist because we model them after heterosexual relationships in ways that negatively impact our self-image or our concept of healthy love. So I think it's one of those things where just because a partner is asking more of you, um, as far as communication or different things than any of your male partners did, doesn't mean that they're high maintenance or that they're difficult. It just maybe means that they have a more evolved concept of what a healthy working relationship looks like.
Yeah. I
And so
was I was blown away during Queer Ultimatum just by the conversations alone. And then don't worry, eventually it got toxic too. And I was like, "Ah, they're just like us."
people are people.
People are people. But yeah, like the whole patience and not labeling we're we're just like programmed to believe so many things about women that then when you want to love women, you find yourself instead just tearing them down.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's again getting rid of this whole idea of seeing women as competition. That can get so hard in relationships. Like, I remember being a teenager. When you're a teenager, it's the time where everybody's very insecure. And I remember one person being like, "So what would you do if you're dating another woman and you thought she's prettier than you?" And this was like a group conversation between amongst a bunch of us. And we were just all kind of talking in that very safe space where none of us felt the need to like have an answer instantly. We're all like, "Yeah, what would I do if my partner is prettier than me?" Because like when you're dating a guy, it's supposed to be like lucrative that he's prettier than you. But then as a girl, you're like, "Was that supposed to make me sad? Am I supposed to be happy? What do I do if she thinks she's prettier than me?" And all these things. And ultimately, again, we all came down to the conclusion that seems so simple, but it's like, if I loved her, would I care? And it's like, no, if we actually cared about each other, it does not matter who has bigger tits, who has longer legs, who's this, who's that, because it's, again, it breaks down to being so much more about the individual. And again, you're going to have to fight to prove to the world that your relationship or your sexuality is valid. So you might as well do it with one that actually aligns with you because you're never going to make everybody happy. There's literally no way if you are anything but cis, white, straight, heterosexual male to make everybody happy. And even then, a lot of us see through the bullshit anyway. So it's like you honestly just have to, I think, yeah, just embrace yourself as you are. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, take what makes you the best version of yourself and you have to leave everything else at the door. Like for like this podcast, any shit that I said that doesn't ring true, doesn't register, isn't helping you evolve, fuck that shit. Throw it in the trash can, light it on fire. If it helps you and you feel like it empowers you to be that person you know you're capable of being, awesome. Keep it, hold on to it. The second it stops being useful, get rid of it.
Yeah, I think my manifestation, like you chose patience, and I went, oh, mine is grace. Because with
Yeah.
patience and with the whole, like, you actually get to choose what resonates with you and what doesn't. We don't always give ourselves the grace to actually give us credit for evolving or even to evolve because we're like my sister likes to bring up the fact that when I was 15, maybe no, I was younger because I was riding my bike to the Blimpie. Um, so when I was younger than 15, my sister had bought a Blimpie sandwich and had put it in the fridge. I got home later than everyone, asked my mother, "Hey, what had been for dinner?" And she went, "There's a Blimpie sandwich in there." Ate it, got food poisoning because you can't just trust that mayo after an hour. Got food poisoning, whatever. And my sister to this day will be like, "You remember when you just let yourself eat my Blimpie sandwich?" I go, "The Blimpie sandwich I was gaslit into believing was my dinner and then gave me food poisoning?" Yes, I do. Like, we let things like that go, and I've always been selfish, and I've never grown sense or whatever. Like, I'm still that 8-year-old who eats people's sandwiches and throws fits if she has to take the garbage out and, like, all of that. But you gotta give yourself grace. Like, listen, we all deserve to love women. Women are fantastic.
Yeah, well, to that, so much of what I always have to remind myself is the earliest core version of myself was not heterosexual. She did not know that there was those concepts. She just was. And so like any time that there's those feelings of, kind of like that imposter syndrome or the I'm not good enough or I haven't dated enough or what if my score percentage isn't equal between men and women? What if the women I like aren't femme enough? What if the women are too mask? What if whatever? Like anytime I look at any of that, I'm like, little me didn't care. Little me was not straight. And that's as simple as it was. She did not label anything else. She did not care. She didn't question if she saw women kissing each other. Like none of that stuff ever registered as abnormal because of what she already knew about herself. And that's something I always try to like encourage people. It's like, even if you're a late bloomer, yes, but no, you didn't consciously because you were programmed otherwise, but you can't change the fact that this is who you are and where your heart's always been. And that's not something society can take away or invalidate. Like it's there and it's allowed to take whatever form it takes with you because it's not in a box. It's not binary. It doesn't have like a little bucket list to ensure that you can get your membership to the gay club.
Yeah. Life isn't a Cosmo quiz, it turns out.
I know, it'd be really easy if it was, but it's not.
It's not. I took so many Cosmo quizzes. Like,
I still will whip out a BuzzFeed quiz
oh, I
whenever I'm
love a
watching.
BuzzFeed quiz.
I'll do
Yeah.
BuzzFeed, Cosmo, M Magazine,
Ugh,
Tiger Beat.
we
Mm.
love. Noelle, thank you so much for being here and spending time with me again. You're always welcome back. We know
Oh,
this.
cute. Yes.
We've already talked about things that we could talk about again. You were like, "Yes, I will do this episode, but then I want to do," and I'm like, "Yes." Come
Yeah,
up
no, I
with the
send you
ideas for
so
me.
many
Yeah.
ideas.
Tell everyone where they can find you so that they can also follow your cool life on the internet.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that endorsement. I'll be like spending the rest of like the next few months trying to live up to that. I'll be like, what would be cool to Natalie?
Yes. It's
um,
everything I want.
no, exactly. So you can follow me on basically all social media platforms with at Noelle Cope, which is NoellaCope. I'm on the major platforms, TikTok, Instagram, most other social media. I kicked the boot to. And then, yeah, my books, other things are available elsewhere. So you can just Google me to find all the other information. Just Google me. You'll find
Just
some,
Google me.
yeah, that's the worst that could happen. Probably something terrible, but
Check out the links in the show notes because I'll do the Googling for you so you
uh,
don't end up on the scary parts of the internet.
see,
Uh,
Natalie's got your guys' back.
I got it.
Any single lesbians listening or bisexuals,
Oh my god, wing woman.
Natalie is so good at doing things like providing links and the research for you because she knows that your time is valuable.
Yeah, and she
Her
likes to
DMs are open.
her DMs are open, and she wants to take you to karaoke to dry hump Abraham Lincoln. A perfect date, if
No,
anyone ever thought of it.
no, that is.
Yeah, it is. Here's the thing, that's why I stopped dating men because their dates are boring. They are not gonna wanna sing Pink Pony Club and grind on Abraham Lincoln.
No, it's gotten to the point where if I go out with a man, I pitch the date. And I have
Yeah.
so many men being like, wow, I've never had a woman. And I'm like, I'm not doing it because I like you any more special than I like anyone. I'm doing it because I don't want to do something I don't like.
Yeah, mhm, and that's all you guys pick. Uh, you can find the podcast at Ben I've Tolerated Pod on Instagram, NatalieK124 at TikTok, and my personal Instagram. On Patreon, you'll find things like tidbits I cut out of this episode, but still thought were juicy, and hope to get to Lou Wilson and Dropout TV. Um, uh, Team Tolerated check-ins, the misogyny meltdown, blog posts, anything. There's free stuff, there's paid stuff. Have a heyday over there. And remember, tolerators, you don't have to smile through anything you're tolerating, including boomers questioning you on your sexuality because they seem to remember you going to prom with a boy. Smiles are for joy.